Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in to today's live stream. I am very excited because I'm finally back from traveling to ETH Denver, which means I get to be here at my home setup. As you can tell, I have Denver merch as proof that I attended ETH Denver, even though it's nothing related to ETH Denver and I got it in the airport on the way out. It is all right. It still counts. We are currently up 0.6% on the entire DeSci market cap. We are sitting at $760 million market cap. 24-hour gainers. Number 1, the Innovation Game. Number 2, Silencio. Number 3 is actually one of the IP NFTs from Vita DAO known as Vita Fast. So hopefully you guys are all paying close attention because we rebounded aggressively from the recent market crash that we had. That was quite an interesting couple days to be a market participant. I don't know that I was expecting that big of a sell-off, followed by Trump tweeting, hey, buy my altcoin bags, and then just seeing explosive gains to the upside. So I'm excited here. We have a lot of cool things to talk about today. It's going to be a little bit of a chilled out live stream because I am still not feeling 100%. After traveling so much, I have my kombucha. I didn't get sick, which is the first time I haven't gotten sick in a very long time after having traveled, but I am very depleted. Oh man, what's pulling us down though? What is keeping us from hitting those all-time highs? Right now it is ARXIV as well as not Helmy Defen and private AI. I want to make sure everything is pulled up appropriately because I did not keep it up. We got this. We got that. There we go. Okay, cool. I put this here. I put that there. I'm not live on X, and that is because I didn't realize how quickly the time had passed by. Good morning, Spectruth. Good morning, Morales. Good morning, Beagle. Good morning, Zach. Happy to have you guys in here. Happy indeed. All right, so right now, if we take a look, I have some things pulled up to talk about, and it's going to be a little bit of just back and forth on whatever it is we do want to talk about. Right now, we're finding that some of the bottoms in the DeSci plays do look like they actually did put in this bottom. I'm hoping that we can see Poseidon DAO, for example, shoot up above $1.50 here in this week. Realistically, I want to see it shoot up this week. We see Bill trying to find that bottom. It does also look like Bill found some sort of support down here at 1.5 cents, which is pretty good, I suppose, depending on who you ask, right? Some of you guys got in way up here and then you're sitting down on your positions, but I'm happy to see that the bleeding has stopped in a lot of these altcoins. We come scrolling through, even Research Coin, the likes of Research Coin, does look like that was a bit of a capitulation event that happened, and we are starting to find some sort of a bottom here. We still haven't found it. This is still, if it were to bottom here or peak here, that is still a lower high. So downtrend still has not been completely reversed, but it does look like it's trying its best to find that bottom. Even on Lake is back down to some of my more recent entry prices. We actually went, I didn't realize this, but we actually went below where I had purchased last time. I bought right before we saw that big spike. It is definitely an oscillator. Like if you go look at Data Lake, we got that high up here, up at 2 cents, give or take, and then the low down here, also at 0.2 cents, give or take. And so it seems like it just bounces between these two right now. I'm a little bit disappointed to see the performance of all of these DeSci projects thus far, but that is all right. Nothing has changed. The market we're waiting patiently for it to recognize altcoins and stop being 100% Bitcoin dominant. Now, this is not related to crypto directly, but I do want to bring it up. It is the yield curve. You guys are well aware of the yield curve. It's the difference between the 2-year and the 10-year treasury note from the United States debt. It's the yield you get on the debt issued from the United States, either 2-year duration or 10-year duration. Now, this has been something that people have been talking about for years, so I don't want to just beat a dead horse and go over again and again and again. All of you guys should know because it gets brought up a lot on this channel at least. But during the period in which the 2-year Treasury note is yielding a higher return than the 10-year. The 2 years, the actual chart, the 10-year is this smoothed out pink line. During a period where the 2-year yields more than the 10-year is indicative of an unhealthy economy in the United States, or at least it's indicative that investors think the economy is unhealthy. And then when we get that uninversion, meaning the 10-year is yielding higher than the 2-year, that's a return to normalcy, which is usually corresponding with a recession. The only question is if we're actually going to end up getting that recession, or if it was soft enough and smooth enough that we don't end up getting that crazy recession. A lot of the data, and kind of why I'm bringing this up right now, is indicating that this quarter that we're currently in is the makings of a recession. And potentially the next quarter might as well. Some estimates from the Atlanta Fed at least are suggesting that we're going to have a negative 2.4% GDP, which is pretty insane for this quarter. I want to bring it up. We've talked about it, but I haven't gotten the chance to show it really. Yeah, right here. So they just revised it down again. So they initially said back on February 28th, I think it was, that the Atlanta Fed was estimating Q1 of this year to be a negative 1.5 GDP print. They just revised it down to negative 2.8. So they are estimating a hard slam on the brakes in the economy, probably because of the Doge stuff, everything that Doge is working on, cutting spending and everything, a bit of a hiccup. What this is going to do is force the Fed to actually start injecting some money into the economy. Stop sucking out all the money that they've been doing for the last 2.5 years or so. That negative $55 billion a month that goes into the economy, aka they're taking a giant vacuum and sucking up $55 billion of liquidity every single month. They said they were going to stop doing that. And then these readings dropping from a plus 3.9% to a negative 2.8% in 4 weeks. That is a very quick change that will turn a lot of eyes. So this kind of news is a big reason why we had that crazy sell-off. And then a bit of a rebound because Trump was like, hey guys, buy my altcoin bags. What's good, Yeti? Welcome in. Glad to have you. Happy to see you in here. Good morning, Jordy. Good morning, Narender. Bitcoin view, please. Okay, we can look at the Bitcoin view. Let's go ahead and duplicate this trading view tab and go ahead and, oh, we're already on Bitcoin. And this has the 10-year over it. We'll delete the 10-year and we will kind of adjust the scales to make it look pretty. But this purple bar that I put in here is kind of where we have been consolidating for a good period of time here on Bitcoin. We saw that crazy capitulation followed by a nice rebounding where everyone was buying stuff up, and then a crazy large spike all the way up to about $95,000 per Bitcoin, which is really beautiful. However, I do need to say that it is following the liquidity perfectly. If you were to overlay, and I had a hard time finding the actual global M2 supply of money, but if you were to overlay that on Bitcoin, it's following it exactly. When do you think the bull resumes? I think this is just normal bull market activities. I do. We're kind of spoiling it a little bit, but when we had this, in my opinion, this was still part of a bull market. I did not get out. It was a 30% drop in Bitcoin. That is still part of a bull market. I know it's painful, but it's still in the larger scale of everything bullish. It went down 28% in this last drawdown. So I'm hoping that was it. If you actually look, the little circle I had drawn for out in July had a Bitcoin coming back down under $80,000, which is what just happened. We did just get a spike down under 80,000. I thought it would happen a lot later, but it happened really quickly. The next circles I have are up here, 150,000 and 185,000. So we will see. Time shall tell. Beagle, I think it will depend on how people take the news tomorrow. What is the news tomorrow, Spec? What news is coming out tomorrow? Come on. We need to know. The whole market's bleeding pretty bad right now. Like, we had that bounce in Ethereum and everyone was like, yeah, and it just came straight back down. We had Solana, same thing. Not as bad as Ethereum, but Solana's been bleeding a lot more than Ethereum did, believe it or not. Solana dropped a total of 57%, which is pretty insane to think about. In the middle of a bull market, seeing that kind of sell-off is not usually something people stomach. I just hope the AI agents recoup. They got crushed. They got absolutely decimated. And I think the reality is that most people realize that they weren't doing much. So the agents that are doing stuff, I think will recoup, but the ones that still aren't doing anything, I don't think they recoup the same. Unless we get crazy, crazy liquidity injections. In that case, all bets are off. All bets would be off. But this, what I want you to pay close attention to is the spread between the 2 and the 10-year treasury notes, because generally everything is okay-ish until we get this back like a snap down. And what I mean by snap down is a violent readjustment. So far we've had a slow uninversion of the yield curve, which is still okay. It is still okay. A slow uninversion means we're slowly getting back to normal, which means there is no sudden jarring movements. Right now, we're basically in front of a wild animal, and the market, we just don't want to see any sudden movements, because then the animal is going to attack. The animal is the recession. We, in that example, are the market. So if we can slowly sneak away from the animal, then we'd be okay, right? But if all of a sudden we make a run for it, i.e. this uninversion happens really quickly and snaps up, that's when we're going to get some uncomfortable times, right? Right here, we had a snap up really quickly in the uninversion. Not great. Right here, I mean, that was the COVID recession. Oh, we got some fire alarms going off right now. Let's see. I'm going to mute the mic while I discover what's going on. Don't worry, guys. It was just the carbon monoxide alarm. If I pass out, please someone call for help. I'm just kidding. We actually have no idea what it was. Run, Forrest, run. No, back to it. What was I saying? It's the uninversion of the yield curve, if it happens slow enough, is okay. It's not great, and it does indicate we're in some sort of a hiccup in the economy and something's going to happen, but it's the rapid uninversion that gets us in trouble. Right? We had a bit of that inversion and uninversion throughout the precedes of the dot-com bubble, but if you look right here, like we were uninverting and nothing bad happened, and then we inverted again and then uninverted and nothing bad happened. It wasn't until we rapidly had that separation between the 2 and the 10-year that we had that big recession. And so this is a bit of a rapid uninversion. If we can cool off a little bit for maybe another like 6 months before we get another giant increase, then we'd be okay. And the difference here is this gap, right? So if you look back here in January, the gap between the 10-year and the 2-year was pretty huge, right? But now it's close again. So we want to stay close for as long as possible. Dawn sent the goons after you. No! Oh, I heard one more. I hope for more bullish news from Trump. You know, Beagle, me too. Great guy, Mark. Happy to see you in here. Give me the breakdown. XRP, FDV flipped Ethereum. That's insane. Absolutely insane. XRP has the definition of diehard cult members. Oh, yeah. Well, technically, Ethereum's supply is unlimited, so Ethereum's FDV is also unlimited. XRP's FDV, they have a limited supply, and so technically speaking, Ethereum is super valuable. Do you guys hear it? Do you guys hear that beeping still? What the hell? Run, Forrest, run. Yikes. Everyone good? Yeah. Police are on the way. No! As soon as Litecoin starts moving, I'm out of the market. So let's see. As soon as Litecoin starts moving, I'm out. Yeah, thank God. When Litecoin gets up to these prices up here, all right, when Litecoin crosses that $300 area in price, I'm out. I'm getting out. Wild times, it's clear insider trading. I know. It really is clear insider trading. Everything that just happened with the sell-off. We go look at Bitcoin. You guys ready for this? Okay. Sell-off started happening here, February 25th. Okay. That's when the sell-off happened. February 28th is when the news that the Atlanta Fed cut GDP estimates was. So if you look, insiders started dumping, okay, and dumped us on Bitcoin, dumped us down 18% in 4 days, which is why it was such a panic. And then as soon as the news came out that the Atlanta Fed was changing the GDP estimates, we actually printed almost a green candle. We almost printed a green candle the day that the GDP estimates got revised down by such a dramatic extent. How nuts is that? How absolutely insane is that? We had that clear insider trading happen right there. It is what it is, though. You can't really do much about it. You just have to not be overexposed. Don't be over leveraged on stuff. Leaks before the Friday crypto summit. Okay. Now, I was going to pull through some of the DeSci stuff. We got Genome still continuing to put in higher highs on the number of users who are registered to use their platform and get the genetic testing kits. I just want to keep highlighting Genome's DAO here because they continue to post this growth stat. And as long as they continue to grow the users, I think that they are going to continue to grow as a company. As far as Bioprotocol, Curatopia is live right now with the auction. I think they've only raised like $100,000 in. They're going live native on Solana. I have an interview with the founder of Curatopia, and I'm going to do my best to get it out today, but no promises. Ethan and I sat down IRL to do an interview, and so I'm going to try and get that out for everyone today. I tried to get it out for Rare Disease Day, which was like Thursday or something, but I couldn't manage. It's on my phone, and I couldn't get the 45-minute video to upload to my Google Drive to edit it. So you're gonna have to deal with it. Then we have Mudo, DNA. They are doing their weekly Monday AMAs are back, so expect that in a couple hours here. They will be going live shortly to talk about everything. We also have Quantum Biology DAO, which I thought was pretty interesting because they said next in their protein series, DNA polymerase, the enzyme that copies your genetic code. Could it be using quantum effects to reduce errors? Let's investigate. And I think it's pretty intriguing that they're doing some high-level aggressive research into quantum biology, which is a field that's not previously existed. So they're building a quantum microscope, and they're actually going to be looking at some of the effects that are happening at the smallest observable scale. Remember, that's what quantum is. It just means the smallest measurement you can make. And so they're looking to see those small, like, electron forces that happen when you're around technology, for example, like the EMFs that are being produced by the technology, that is having an impact on our biology. And so they're measuring stuff like that. Now, I don't know if that's exactly what they're going to be measuring. I mean, we can read this to see exactly what they're going to be measuring, but they are opening a door to a new field of biotech medicine that has just not been capable at all before. I didn't even know it existed before. And then here's the Fed stuff. We have Bitcoin funding rates. So Bitcoin funding rates, every time they've flipped negative, has been indicative of a bottom, at least a local bottom. And they did at least this bull run. Every time this bull run that they flipped negative, it has been indicative of a local bottom. So back in September of 23 through November of 23, they were toying with negative zones as we were building out support on the bottom of that period in the market. And then it skyrocketed. Peaked out when funding rates were also peaking out, and then slowly drained until they went negative again. When they went negative again is when we had that reversal and that explosion. Then it peaked out again when funding rates were up high again at 0.04. And then we started bleeding until we just flipped negative. That liquidation event really did a number on people. And so that's where we're currently at. Currently trying to find a bottom if you do believe that this will continue, this pattern that we're seeing continues with the funding rates, which there's no reason not to believe that it will, in my opinion. And yeah. Basically, that's it. We got a new Zaya roadmap. Expect staking for Zaya on Binance Smart Chain. They're going out pretty far, all the way out till Q1 2027. So that's pretty exciting. Oh my God. C90, what the hell? I called Cobb County to do a welfare check on Patrick. They said, oh shit, not another crypto influencer again. Oh my God. Drawn too much attention. Drawn way too much attention. But can I get some ones in the chat if you guys want to hear what it is I've been up to lately? I was not going to say it yet because I've got too much information, like too many things to do. Not really, but this is funny. Telling please fix to cursor again. Understanding how things actually work. This is actually a good representation. So can I get a 1 in the chat if you guys want to hear some updated information on what I've been doing and where my focus has been, why I have not been making videos, why I was not able to go live consistently throughout last week, the next trip that I have coming up, what I've been working on with Bill, and just the whole lot of it. Because we can talk about what's going on in the market. Essentially right now, guys, we're in this no different of a stance that we were when we were pumping up here, right? Nothing has changed at all. And the fundamentals of the structure of the cycle has not changed. We are still headed to higher highs and higher lows. We are still in a very clear stair-stepping pattern. Until this changes, until we get some breaking of the trend lines, we're not in a weird spot. Hopefully you guys managed to scoop the dip as best as each of you wanted to, and hopefully Bitcoin dominance can actually not close way up here and in fact break below the trend line here and actually start falling down. But we have to be a little bit reactive to the market. So what I have been doing, okay, for the last 3 weeks or so, do you guys remember when I posted on X and I said, how long might it take someone to learn to code? And I got a bunch of varying answers from it would take like 6 to 9 months, maybe it would take a year, 2 years. I got some people telling me it would take more than 5 years for me to learn how to code successfully and actually create products and everything. What I've been experiencing is that and this is something I've learned from both Blocks, if you guys remember Blocks, and the product I was trying to make before Blocks, and when I was trying to start building out the AI agent ecosystem for Bill and everything, what I've been learning is that I don't know, or I didn't know what I didn't know. And what I mean by that is when I'm trying to hire out developers and I'm trying to find people to help create my vision into a reality, I struggle with conveying what I need them to actually do because I don't know the steps that it takes to get from A to Z, which has been a huge hiccup for me. And I didn't think it really mattered because I figured I could just sit down, explain the vision, and then have them help me come up with the steps we need to get from A to Z. That's not how it works at all. It's not at all how it works. And it's almost embarrassing how long it took me to figure that out. But nonetheless, about a month ago, I realized I needed to be the one to do it. If I was going to have something be created, I needed to be the person who created it. I could not hire it out. I couldn't rely on other people. I just had to do it. And so I took a step back from the content creation and everything I was doing, which I know is not the best. It was a very difficult decision to make, but in order to go back and learn how to create, learn how to take the thoughts in my brain and put them out into the world via different applications and everything. And so I started taking courses, started playing around with all the AI tools that are in existence, and went back basically to school, if you will, to find a foundation so that I could create the AI tools that I want implemented into the artificial intelligence that we're trying to create. And so far, I have not only learned the fundamentals behind how AI works and how it's actually structured so that next time I'm having conversations with developers and everything, I can actually understand what it is they're saying and know what to ask for, right? But I've also started taking a course which has allowed me to create my own AI, right? From scratch, starting it off, okay? So in the span of 3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe, I went from not understanding what it was and how they all worked, right? How neural networks played into LLMs with databases and vectorizing all of them so that the AI can actually talk, and then giving the AI, which is really just a conversational front to a large language model, a database, how to give the AI tools that it can then use and start building and creating almost on its own. It's not entirely on its own because you still have to prompt it, but it's very close to being entirely on its own. And so last week I made, like, just to experiment with what I have been learning, I created an AI Telegram chatbot that I can, like, go ask it and say, hey, can you give me a recipe for chicken cordon bleu? I want to eat dinner tonight. And then it spits out a full breakdown of ingredients list, a complete step-by-step instructions. It then, and I haven't turned it on because I don't really want this coming to my house, but then it talks with, what's that grocery store that you can get groceries delivered to your house? What is that? What is that app that you can go get groceries delivered to your house? Instacart. It can then go to Instacart, upload all of the grocery list to Instacart, go to checkout and buy the stuff for me through my Instacart. Now, I haven't turned that part on because I don't want groceries coming to my house every time I ask it how to make a dozen chocolate chip cookies, but it's hooked up and ready to do that. And I think it's really cool that taking just a step back from trying to go, and actually trying to learn and understand what's going on, that I was able to create a tool like that. Now, does it play into Bill? No, Bill's not going to do our grocery shopping for us. But at that point, all you have to do is plug and play with small snippets and these little chunks. The craziest part about this, guys, and this is what I would like to drive home to anyone who's feeling in a similar position right now where they want to do something cool, they want to implement AI and these automation workflows into their life, but they don't have the knowledge yet. There are AI applications which will do the coding for you. You have to learn how to read it a little bit and understand, like, the structure of it, but that's not hard. That part's not hard at all. It's like learning how to write it is pretty difficult, but guess what? You don't have to anymore. You really don't. You really don't. There's literal little graphic workflows that you can do that you can just drag and drop snippets of predetermined code to figure it out. I was using an application called CS Code or CV Code or something. I don't remember it right now. But as I'm typing the beginning little parts of code, it was auto-populating the rest of it for me. And it wasn't 100% correct, but then I could just go in and make a little bit of a change to it, and the next line of code that it would try and auto-populate was more tailored to what I was trying to create. Welcome to my world. Has it driven you insane yet? It's honestly the only thing that's keeping me going right now, Yeti. It's the only thing that I'm like, oh, I want to, like, F this live. I don't want to do this live. I want to go sit down and continue to work on that thing. It's so much fun. It's so much fun because then with the little grocery shopping thing, that agent that I've created, I can also then, yes, VS Code, thank you, Seedling. I can also take and hook it up to a database that has all of my already existing groceries in the pantry and in the refrigerator. And I can just have it check that list before going to Instacart and purchasing all those things for me. So it's crazy. And then the applications that I've been using have a little, like you can do API calls, obviously. You can do HTTP requests, obviously. You can input custom code chunks into these little frameworks. And it's really, really quite powerful. So basically all that to say, I had to take a pause. Like, Bill is still being developed and Thuna is doing a wonderful job. Thuna, I've asked a lot from Thuna, and Thuna has gotten us to a point in which we actually have a working product, and he's still finalizing the V2 of Bill so that he's more customized and more tailored with his responses. But what I've found from doing all of this is that we really don't, like, the reason why most of the AI agents on X right now sound just like regurgitated nonsense content is because they're all using already existing LLMs in order to understand and how to interact with people. The problem is that those LLMs are the same type of things that just give the generalized answers that ChatGPT gives. So in order to actually have a powerful agent, in order to actually have a powerful AI that is tailored for what you want, it's common sense, right? It's common sense, but I was not at the point where my knowledge made it common sense. You actually have to give it a tailored LLM entirely. You can't have that foundation, that same foundational knowledge of just nonsense. Otherwise, every time you talk to it, it's going to give it nonsense. Or you can't just do a little bit of a wrapper with something from, Creator Bid allowed you to have those BitTensor subnets to power the AI. You can't just do that because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's just going to be the same regurgitated wrapper of everything else that is running off the same little network. So it's been really fun. Honestly, it's been really exciting. You're using OpenAI or Claude. I use OpenAI for most of my stuff, but I also found out that you can create custom models within OpenAI. So you can actually do what I'm talking about right there. There's also an application called Cursor, which does a lot of coding for you. There you got the VS Code. There's another application called N8N. And that one's been really, really powerful for me personally because it breaks it down into a simpler model. So that's where almost all of my attention has been. Basically, all of my attention has been in that right now. And it's really cool because and I know I'm going on a rant here, but you guys hopefully are still enjoying it. But if you go look out, this is basically where I was. Can you please fix this again? But instead of just asking Cursor, which is an AI generating AI, it is a code generating AI, and just being like, can you please fix it? Can you please fix it? Can you please fix it? Going the other way, and while this might feel like a little bit of a further thing, more complicated, but understanding how things actually work has gotten me, I think it has accelerated it beyond any wild imaginations here. Yes, Cursor. Cursor is an AI that does coding for you. Now, ChatGPT 3.0 does coding as well. You just have to understand how to prompt it, right? That it might also be a big blocker for people, is like understanding how the AIs actually talk and communicate and how they understand things, because they're not smart. They're just using probability to determine what is the most likely outcome that you're asking it. It's just guessing. And so by increasing the probability, meaning you feed it context and have it understand better what it is that you're asking, it will give you more custom and tailored actionable outputs, which is super powerful. Very, very powerful. Like if you learn how to write in its native language just a little bit, like I'm not talking understanding Python or even JavaScript or anything. I'm like, if you can learn how to do XML prompting, for example, and learn how to talk in a language that is more native to the LLM, you'll get outputs that are significantly more enhanced and actionable. And you can take something like ChatGPT and actually turn it into a more intelligent network. Weighted values. Exactly, Yeti. And it's really been a blast, honestly. And there was something else I was going to say with it. So for example, what I'm saying right there with the customized LLMs, that is what is taking so much time and energy from all of these AI companies is to build out these custom LLMs, large language models, so that you can train the AI to be general intelligence, because they're all of these, like Claude or OpenAI or Grok or Meta's AI, they're all trying to be artificial general intelligence, which is a really worthwhile race if you have the resources to go after that. But if you're trying to use a generalized intelligence for a specific task, it's going to fail more often than it succeeds. Maybe not if you can understand and do it properly, but it's going to fail a lot. So if you can actually remove yourself from the AGI and create a specific LLM for your task, then you can have a better version. You can have like all of the tokens going towards one thing instead of spreading them out into everything. Now, with that being said, creating those LLMs are very difficult because you have to chunk out the information, right? Let's say, for example, I wanted Bill to know exactly what's going on. Axon DAO. Let's just search that and go to. Let's say I wanted Bill to be trained 100% on everything that has to do with Axon DAO's website. Okay. Let's say I wanted to train Bill on that. I would have to get a scraping software to go through and pull all of the text off the homepage. And that includes every single photo. This is a photo. This is a photo. This is a photo. This is text. This is text. This is different font text from this text. Every single piece of information has to be pulled off the website. And this is only on the homepage. All of these links, every single link needs to be pulled from the website. This scroll wheel of links also needs to be pulled. All of these secondary links, the white paper is going to open up into a whole new web link that I have to go through each and individual page here and grab all the information off of each and every one of these pages, right? It's all that to say that just Axon DAO is going to be an overwhelming amount of information to feed into it. And you can't just upload a website. You have to actually download all of the information from the website, chunk it into small snippets of information, like one paragraph at a time. Like this piece of information needs to be an individual submission into the large language model, an individual little snippet of code that can then exist in a three-dimensional graph space near other pieces of information that are very similar in nature to that, right? So the Axon DAO team, this headline with this piece of information is going to be one little plot on that graph. And then down here, we're going to have Chris's input. That'll be a second plot right next to the first one, but not the exact same spot. And then this one will be another plot next to Chris, but maybe a little bit closer to the actual healthcare data side of things than Chris's, right? I don't know exactly how it would plot out, but each and every line has to be a new input. That takes an egregious amount of time. Yes, vectorization, exactly. I also, okay, with that being said, I also built out a vectorization workflow where I can upload a PDF to this workflow, and in the input you get PDF, output you get vectorized database to upload to Bill's LLM, to his knowledge base. And so that whole process I just explained gets taken care of. Now, the one that I created, it only works for PDFs. And so if I could download the entire white paper as a PDF, I could upload it and have it vectorized. But then, once I realized not everything was going to be PDFs, I had to go back, create another secondary workflow that was able to take and scrape websites and then vectorize the websites. And so that's even more complicated than the initial thought. And all this just to keep Bill's database, keep the LLM up to date constantly. And this is stuff that I've had to figure out how it works from scratch, because there's nobody that I can't rely on anyone. I can't ask too much from people, especially when it's my vision and I can't fully explain to people what the vision is. I have to go do it. And that's just what I've found after trying to make stuff work for a couple years now, is that if I really want something, I'm just going to have to be the one that does it. And it's really been a lot of fun. And that's not knocking anyone who has helped me in any way get to the spot that we're in right now. It's been all super valuable. And I really Thuna, if you're watching this right now, which I don't know that you are, because you're afraid I'm going to ask you for something, but I really do appreciate it, Thuna. Everything that you've done has been wildly valuable and would not be in the same spot at all if you had not come in and helped build the website for Bill. So yeah, basically, if I come back and you allow me to come back full circle here for a second, and you go look at some of the AI agents that will just respond underneath the posts. Let's see if we can find an AI agent that just is responding nonsense underneath what I post out here. I don't have this. Sport token is not my token. I don't know, but you guys know who it is I'm talking about. Ooh, Patrick Joyce reposted my post. You guys know what I'm talking about. When you post stuff and then the AI agent crew just gets all over it. In order to make it so that Bill's responses are not just regurgitated nonsense, I had to take the step back to actually create the LLM, the underlying infrastructure that gave him the knowledge. And it's crazy to me because it's so, like, all of this stuff is so in its infantry, and it's so clear that you can see how, like, brute force it all is. It's none of it's elegant feeling. All of it feels like you're just brute forcing your way through it in true human nature. It's crazy to me. It's just crazy. It's like all of those little chunks need to be auto deleted if they're no longer useful information. All those chunks need to be auto uploaded new if it's been changed at all. And that kind of process, it's crazy to me that none of it's like dynamic. Like, we don't currently have the AI that can just go to a website, pull the information off the website and give it to you. It's all AI that has to, like, pull the whole website, filter for specific pieces of information, upload all of it to the database, then give it to you. It's not just like what you might think it was. And in order for me to know that, I had to really break everything down and get to the root of how it was functioning so that I could then temper my expectations and temper what I was asking for to be more realistic. Because before that, I didn't know. I just assumed that you could just go scrape a website, get the piece of information and give it to me. But no, you have to literally go through even the metadata behind the website, which is crazy to me. Crazy. Oh, my back. Cardano's AI agent Thanos is pretty annoying sometimes. Yeah, it is pretty annoying. Yeah, I have not seen it, but I imagine it's pretty annoying. They just regurgitate the same little pieces of information over and over and over again, which is just annoying. Could I make an AI agent that makes me money while I'm sleeping? Say, for example, scrape Facebook Marketplace for deals and sell them to secondary market, completely automated. What could be a workflow? Yeah, in theory, yes, you could absolutely do that. Absolutely, but you have to learn, you have to understand what it is that you're actually asking of it, because that, what you're asking, right, sounds pretty simple. And this is a good highlight of what my problem was, right? So you're trying to make an AI agent that scrapes Facebook Marketplace for deals, sells them to secondary marketplace, completely automated, okay? So what you have to understand is that you need an AI agent that has API to Facebook Marketplace. Like, you need to do an API call to Facebook Marketplace first. Then, once you have that access to Facebook Marketplace, you need to set up filters on a scraping agent. You need to be able to scrape the whole website, pull all the information off Facebook Marketplace. Then you need to have a third piece to that workflow in which you have filters set up and only keywords get pulled through. And likely that's going to be an AI agent built into a workflow that makes it easier to sort through that. So that you're going to have to train a custom agent on what it is that you're looking for with these deals. Define a deal. What is a deal, right? The AI is not going to know that. Then once you've created that LLM, that AI agent that can scrape through the information that you've downloaded, you need a way to upload all of that information to a database. And now that I'm saying it, before you even introduce the AI, you're actually going to have to put all the information you downloaded into a database. Then you're going to need API access to that database for the AI agent. And then once that AI agent has access to the database that you downloaded all the information from Facebook Marketplace to, then you can start training an agent on what a deal is. And then once you've had an agent that can successfully identify what deals are, then you put all the information through the agent and have it spit out some information that you then have to re-upload to another database. And then in that next database is when you create the AI agent that can find a secondary marketplace where the value of that deal that you created is actually going to be recognized. Meaning you're gonna have to have this agent talk to this agent in a way that they can actually communicate on what the new deal has been that you've discovered. Then once you've found that, you know what I mean? So it sounds so simple, and I agree with you. It does sound like an easy automation flow for that, but we haven't even gotten to the point where you purchase the deal and upload it to the secondary website. We're still in the discovery phase of the information, and we're 8 steps into the workflow. And so it's just like, that is the problem I was having. I was like, can't we just have Bill look at the websites and just like tell me what I want to know from it? Why do I have to? And it's like, no. There's a lot more to it. Every reply I repost as well, so the entire feed is just that one AI bot. That's so ridiculous. And that's another thing. I don't want Bill doing that. If I just give Bill unfiltered access to his X page, all of a sudden he's going to be reposting every person that says anything about decentralized science. I don't want that. I have to make it so that he knows what quality content looks like, and that is a lot harder than it sounds. Yeah, sounds like we need a team to build one. I agree. You do definitely need some sort of a team to build stuff. Or at the very least, no life, where you can just do it all. I feel ya. I've been doing most of the Spec Truth AI personally, and it can seem overwhelming sometimes. Little by little, progress adds up. It definitely does add up. It definitely does. I think it's just, it has to be tempered. You know what I found out, guys? This is funny. You know what I found out? Sorry, that the post about Elon's post there got me sidetracked. Oh, bio. You ready for this, guys? Bio protocol. They hit 100,000 followers. Let's go. Let's go. So Bio Protocol released that they created AI agent fleets for all of their DAOs in order to help with research, okay? And I don't know if they posted about it, but they said it during the roast. They said it publicly for the first time during the roast that they were creating a fleet of AI agents. Not gonna have tokens, but rather to help the DAOs. And I thought that was really cool, and I was really excited. And then they said, yes, bio agents. And then they said that they wanted 1 million bio agents deployed, I think this year. I don't know if it's 100% positive for this year, but they want 1 million agents, bio agents deployed, which is really cool, right? Then they said they're using the ELIZA framework. Now, the ELIZA framework is a conversational agent, right? That's what Bill is built on. Bill is a conversational agent. Bill is built on the ELIZA framework, okay? That makes sense to you guys? Hopefully it does. Each framework is specific to different tasks. And so if you're gonna have something conducting research, you likely need a totally different framework than ELIZA, which is what we're having to do with Bill as well. We have the front-facing version of Bill, and then we have a back-facing version of Bill that's being developed. And they have to learn when to talk to each other and learn when to not talk to each other. But it's like AI agents right now are not just this one AI model. It's like a systems of workflows, and each workflow has different AI models, right? So definitely swarms, maybe connect Isaac to ELIZA, right? They need, my point with that is that they need more than just ELIZA if they're going to be making AI agents that are actually conducting research. But that's what they said. They're using a ELIZA framework for it, which I thought was just very interesting. I kind of expect to see an explosion of agents posting on X from them. I don't know if that's what they'll do, but that's kind of what ELIZA specializes in. When all of these AI agent mining stuffs that could be shovels that we can sell. Exactly. Definitely swarms. Yeah, it's just interesting. Only 11 likes. Shut it down. They don't want the alpha. They don't want the alpha. I only see 10 likes. Somebody unliked the live. Ladies and gentlemen, we go live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to talk about decentralized science and the broader crypto markets. Today was a little bit of a reveal of what I've been working on personally. And I definitely encourage all of you guys to hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy this type of content. Now, tomorrow, I have to fly to New York. And so I don't know that I'll be able to go live tomorrow. I might try and do one a little bit later in the day, but we might have to skip Tuesday and resume Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yes. All of ELIZA framework stuff, all the information on ELIZA framework is all online. All of it. It's really cool. We're in a very interesting world right now because everyone's racing for one objective, and yet at the same time, they're all doing it open source so that everyone can race together to just make it happen quicker. Usually we get siloed pieces of information where everything is not open to the public and everything is just like, we're working in secret here, we're working in secret here, we're working in secret here. But right now, everyone's just in the public, just like, go, go, go. Who can create the coolest thing ever and give it away for free, which is pretty deflationary. Hence why I don't think we have to worry about inflationary pressures in the economy, because all of the current spending, all of the current CapEx and research and development spending by the major tech companies are all going into artificial intelligence, and a vast majority of it is open sourced. And so all these different projects, all these different companies racing to be the first one to make AI free is pretty damn powerful. Pretty damn powerful. It's like AI is turning into a commodity almost. Now, your time is your most valuable asset. Hopefully this is worth investing it into. I appreciate all of you guys being here with me. And just remember, you never know when Trump is going to say, buy the altcoin dip again. You never know when it's going to happen. But you can assure yourself that generally speaking, when the fear and greed index gets down to historical lows, it's probably a good time to scoop some bags. Nothing is guaranteed, obviously, but make sure you're not 100% out of the market. Don't get shaken up, guys. All right. Peace out.